I'm Mike.
I'm Jason.
Welcome to Snake Envy. So we're going to do another snake lingo of the day. As a hobbyist, I can attest all this stuff is confusing when you start talking genetics. We're going to kick off this video like we did on the last one. We're going to give you a chance to kind of gripe a little bit about what other breeders are doing out there that even makes things more confusing. And so what is it you wanted to talk about this time?
This one's probably got to be my biggest rant. The one that gets me the most. Hybridization.
Hybrids.
Making hybrids. And I've had friends, people I love and know, and they go, I had a female bull snake, but I didn't have, she was cycled. I didn't have anything to breed her to, so I bred her to my albino Applegate gopher. Why?
About ruins your friendship.
If I had hair, I'd pull it out.
Hybrids, no doubt. Even as hobbyists, I always, the worry obviously is that as these animals get out there and then they start getting bred, by the time I'm ready to buy one, how do I trust? And at what point does no one even know anymore what they originated as?
I recently got, this was about 4 years ago, got mad because I was selling a lot of bulls to China. A lot of bull snakes going to China. Well, they added, the only other species they added in, and it was one color morph, blizzard Sonoran gophers. And I'm worried, sick, I'm not going to worry to death over this, but it makes me sick to think about over in China, they're making mutts.
And are they going to make their way back here? And what are they going to call them?
Right. And so some days someone's going to produce a new Xanthic or something, and it's going to be from a Sonoran or...
I'm with you.
My biggest complaint about it is I don't like to make mutts, but then they get out there in the market and muddy it up, and people aren't getting true localities or true species, and that's a problem. And it's, people did hybridization with a lot of pine snakes. I mean, I can think of several. Someone did a bull snake to a Florida pine, called it a pepper pine. Someone did southerns or Florida patternless Floridas to northerns pines, and
those are rare species to begin with.
Well, then you get real rare. You're talking about a Louisiana pine where there's only been a handful ever found, and people are making hybrids out of it.
I'm with you on that one. Even as a hobbyist, I don't like that at all. I'm with you. All right, so let's dive into, today we're going to be talking about morphs. And let's start with a pretty common one, TRumbower.
TRumbower. Well, it's a name and a morph. Craig TRumbower is one of our founding.
He's an OG in the hobby. No doubt
this
about
guy
it.
is old school, and he's done some amazing work and brought some cool. He put bull snakes on the map. He had TRumbower hypos and albinos and white sides, and this stuff came out and way before I was even in this. And Craig TRumbower is a really good guy, a big name. But the TRumbower hypo is one he's probably most famous for. Mostly because there's two lines of hypos in bull snakes. The TRumbower hypo is probably one of my favorite morphs, just because the variability of it. You can get 10 different looks out of this snake, this color morph.
Let's take a look at one.
This girl here. She's a little rowdy. So hypo is short for hypomelanistic. Hypomelanistic in terms means lack of black or reduced black. So you look at this gal, there's no black. These would have been blacks in here, but these are purple instead of black, or shades of purpley gray. And down here where this would have been dark.
Bull snakes classically have black on the tail.
Yeah. And so, yeah, here you go. TRumbower hypo.
True hypo. Interesting. Now, TRumbower is also interesting because a lot of times we associate breeder names with line breeding. But in the case of TRumbower, probably a little of both, but more of a morph, particularly with the hypo.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So the second one we're going to talk about is snow.
Snow. What do you think when you say snow?
White.
White. So a snow is a combination color morph. It is aneuphoristic, which is a lack of red pigment, and albino, amelanistic. So
Interesting.
when you cross those, when they both show up at the same time, it creates a snow.
Interesting. Let's take a look at one.
This is a snow San Diego gopher. Lots of yellow still in it, but a very pale. They're either white, there's usually lavenders, white, yellows,
Everything but red.
but you get these red eyes from the albino.
Very nice. The third one we're going to talk about, this one is interesting too because we're going to talk kind of about two in one, but let's talk about forks.
Forks is a founder's name of a project. Joe Forks out of West Texas created a line of Sonoran gophers. Now they started out as a locality, and then I believe Marathon, Texas. Then you started seeing some weird, abnormal, started seeing aberrancies pop up, and that's what a forks is. The aberrant pattern is a forks gene.
I often hear super forks. So what is super on top of forks?
So super on top of that. So when you get two of the aberrants, you get a super. When you breed those together, 50% will be supers. And so a super, you get, so the actual low expression is forks. When you breed those together, 50% come out patternless. That's a super fork.
So super forks is patternless.
This is a super forks.
So very reduced.
A little
pattern.
bit of pattern here,
Yep.
little lines here and there, but generally.
Generally, it's a patternless snake.
And so, super usually goes with codoms, motley Great Basins, anaconda hognose. When you motley, you breed two motleys, which is a reduced pattern in Great Basins, then you get a super, it's patternless. Anaconda hognose, very similar, little circles in reduced pattern. A super is patternless. So to show you what a forks gene looks like, this is a morph too. It's a rusty forks. I love the name Rusty Fork. But
Now is rusty the color of a snake?
yes, rusty is this. It looks like an albino kind of, but look at those eyes. Those are normal eyes. It's a very complex gene. I don't even fully understand this one.
It looks like
But this aberrant pattern you see here is the Forks gene. And so you breed two of these odd pattern guys together, these aberrant patterns, and some of the babies will come out super, the patterns.
Now, is the aberrancy generally predictable in terms of where, or can it be anywhere on the body?
In this bloodline, it tends to be more in the neck and the upper body. And so, but as far as Great Basins, and I'm just using Great Basins and hognose, the anaconda hogs and the Great Basin Montleys, it's a full aberrancy pattern. It's an abnormal pattern. They're usually like little circles instead of squares or blotching. And so that's where you get that super.
Interesting. Now, as I'm thinking about this, our Herping Quest Great Basin gophers, they're kind of an example of forks and super forks, wouldn't you say? We have some that are virtually patternless. We have some that have varying degrees of aberrancy. Is it possible that Forks Great Basins, or at least what you'd refer to as Forks Great Basins, have been breeding together in that location?
Very possible. I kind of suspect that. We'll find out when we do some test breeding in the future. But I believe, because I think that, anyways, that locality, I think if two of those weird reduced patterns got bred together, you probably get a super or a patternless.
A super.
And so, I mean, we don't know till we do it. But as abundant as they are, I feel like it will be a line bred trait. It will be similar to that. We're going to find out.
Interesting. Well, for me, that's amazing, because that gives me perspective on those snakes we were finding in the wild, and potentially why some of them look the way they do.
And I think a lot of the reason why they look there, it's so prevalent over that in our secret spot, is because it's the population's kind of condensed. And so there is some line breeding going on there. There's definitely some line breeding in natural, it happens. And you see a nice mixed bag, and we'll have more answers in a couple of years, but we're excited about it. So if there's any terms that you don't understand or want us to break down, please leave comments and let us know, and we'll get to them. If there's any snake lingo you want us to cover, or you want to try to stump us, please give us a shot.